So let's talk about some news and what is going on in the world today. And we have Joe Bidenopoulos, Greece's favorite son. Have to be careful crossing here. Calling Xi Jinping a dictator. This is a median with palm trees. I love it. A beautiful median. So it didn't take long from when Blinken was in Beijing, and he kind of talked up some sort of U.S.-China rapprochement, or at least it looked like the relationship between China and the U.S. was getting just a little bit better, just a little bit. The Chinese authorities, they welcomed Blinken to Beijing, and they gave him a good dressing down. They basically told Blinken, look, your administration, the Biden White House, they're all talk and no action. They talk about how they want good relations with China. They talk about peace. They talk about trade. But then they turn around and they curse us and they threaten us and they talk about war and conflict in and around Taiwan. And so the Chinese, they told Blinken, look, enough of your broken promises, enough of the BS. Go back to the US, go back to your boss, Mr. Biden, and tell him that talk is cheap. We want action. We want you to show us that you're ready for peace, that you're ready to trade, that you're ready to talk about our differences, and we can stop talking about all this nonsense about war and Taiwan and all of these things. So that was pretty much the message that the Chinese delivered to Blinken. So Blinken, he really didn't have a good time in Beijing, but at least there was some dialogue that was opened between the U.S. and China. This right here is a monument to the fallen Greek soldiers in Cyprus during the 1974 Turkish invasion. So so Blinken, he goes back to DC, and there's a little bit of hope that maybe we've averted some sort of smash between China and the USA, and maybe, just maybe, the US and China can start talking to each other instead of threatening each other. Well, it took about 24 hours before Joe Bidenopoulos smashed all of that. Smashed it to pieces. Boom. That was Joe Bidenopoulos. He was at some sort of campaign event in California. And let me find what Biden said during this campaign event. Here we go. Biden discussed the row over the balloon at a fundraiser in California on Tuesday, suggesting the incursion was unintentional, even while stating that the craft was designed for espionage. He said the mishap blindsided Chinese officials, including Xi. Quote, the reason why Xi Jinping got very upset in terms of when I shot that balloon down with 2 boxcars full of spy equipment in it was he didn't know it was there, Biden said. That's a great embarrassment for dictators when they didn't know what happened. That wasn't supposed to be going where it was. It was blown off course. So Biden, he destroyed all of Blinken's work in Beijing, if you want to call it work in Beijing. He destroyed any chance of rapprochement over the stupid balloon story. He had to be the tough guy. He had to talk about how he's the one that smashed the balloon. He shot down the spy balloon with 2 boxcars full of spy equipment. And he had to call Xi Jinping a dictator. Boy, oh boy. Joe Biden is without a doubt the worst, the absolute worst foreign policy U.S. president. I mean, he's the worst diplomat that has ever existed. That's Joe Biden. And that's going to be my clown world today, so just keep that in mind. Joe Biden is the worst U.S. president in all of history when it comes to diplomacy and foreign policy, the absolute worst. He obviously does not like Xi Jinping. That's why he keeps on calling him a dictator. This is not the first time he's called Xi Jinping a dictator. It's not going to be the last. He said this on purpose. He wanted to blow apart the possibility of some sort of dialogue or rapprochement with China. So he intentionally said that. The reason that I claim this was intentional and this wasn't some, Joe Biden, oh gosh, golly, gee shucks, gaffe, is because the White House actually has this statement in their readout of the event. So that means that the Biden White House wants the Chinese to read this. They want this to be on record, that Biden at an event in California called Xi Jinping a dictator and talked about how he shot down the balloon. Yeah, the balloon was a great victory for Biden. It wasn't an embarrassment. It wasn't a debacle. It was a great victory for Joe Biden because he shot it down. And Xi Jinping, he had no idea what was going on. What happened to my balloon? Oh my God, what did Biden do? Did he shoot down my balloon? Biden, you're the man. You're the man, Biden, shooting down balloons, weather balloons, spy balloons, whatever. Fields of Gold. This reminds me of the Sting song, Fields of Gold. So, yeah, they put it in the readout. They put it in the readout, this statement, which means that this was not some mess up. This wasn't a Biden gaffe. He wanted this on the record. His White House wanted this on the record. So, yeah, Biden, the neocons, they don't want rapprochement with China. What's Blinken thinking? Even though it was the U.S. State Department that begged China for this trip and for a meeting with Blinken. They begged China, please meet with Blinken. We'll fly to you. Please talk to Blinken, meet with him. They begged for this meeting, and within 24 hours, the neocons, of which Blinken is a part of, he's a neo-lib, but there's really not much difference anymore. But, the neocons, the Biden White House, they blow up all of the work that took place over the past couple of days in Beijing. Well done. Well done, Biden. Also, he could brag about shooting down a weather balloon and call Xi a dictator. Right. Xi Jinping's the dictator. Because it's Xi Jinping that's trying to extradite Julian Assange. And it's Xi Jinping that's waging a proxy war, a NATO proxy war against Russia. And it's Xi Jinping that has the J6 protesters locked up without any charges. And it's Xi Jinping that is going after his political opponents and weaponizing the Justice Department. That's all. That's Xi Jinping. And it's Xi Jinping's son who commits tax fraud and is illegally carrying firearms or tosses firearms into trash cans, and has a laptop with all kinds of stuff that we can't even talk about because it's so what can you say? That's Xi Jinping. That's the dictator Xi Jinping. That's not Biden. No, that's not Biden. Biden is a man of the people. democratically elected President of the United States, man of the people. That's Joe Bidenopoulos. Oh boy, so China was furious, and the Chinese foreign ministry spokeswoman. Let me see if I have this this quote. I believe she's this Chinese foreign ministry spokeswoman, Mao Ning. She described the remarks as extremely absurd, adding that they seriously violated China's political dignity. She said that such statements also violate diplomatic etiquette and contradict basic facts. It's an open political provocation, Mao stressed. Well done, Joe Biden. Well done. The worst foreign policy diplomat president of all time. that is Joe Biden. That's going to be my clown world too, so keep that in mind. So Putin, Biden said during an event in Africa, flying into Larnaca. If you're into the water, since I'm here, into the water. That's my New York accent coming through from New York. And we'll do a clown world from the water. This is Aegean, Greek airline, Aegean, flying into Larnaca. If you're a windsurfer or a sailor, then this is the place for you. This is the place for you. We've got really good windsurfing, good sailing, and you get good wind here. So it's paradise if you're into sailing or windsurfing. So let's do a clown world, and we'll wrap this video up. I hope this video didn't go on too long. Let me see here. Okay, we're good. We're good. So I talked about Biden being the worst diplomat in all of history, the worst foreign policy president in all of history. Well, Biden doesn't think so. He actually compared himself to Kissinger, and I don't know if that's if you want to be comparing yourself to Kissinger, but Biden compared himself to Kissinger. He said, I'm going to say something. It's a quote from Biden. I'm going to say something outrageous. I think I know as much about American foreign policy as anybody living, including Dr. Kissinger, Biden said during an event in Atherton, California on Monday. That's what I've done my whole life for the last 207 years, he joked. The comedy in all of this is that everyone knows he's the worst foreign policy president ever. He has no idea what's going on, and when he does know what's going on, all he does is make gaffes and blunders and mistakes of epic proportion, mistakes that are destroying the United States of America. But in his mind, he actually thinks he's the best foreign policy guy ever. And even funnier than that is that you have politicians in Europe, the entire EU political class, the government in Canada, Trudeau, the government in Australia, the entire collective West, they actually follow this guy and his foreign policy decisions and plots and schemes. They actually believe that Biden is a foreign policy master. Oh boy, if you don't laugh, you cry. If you don't laugh, you cry. So in Biden's mind, he's a foreign policy guru, a wizard, a foreign policy Jedi. That is Biden in his mind. In his mind. The rest of the world, 80% of the world, not in the collective West, Biden hates them and they hate Biden. Biden hates MBS and Erdogan and Putin and Xi and Ramaphosa, everyone. He hates all of them. And Modi, he hates everybody. That's not in the collective West. And the collective West, they don't particularly like Biden either. I can name off 5 world leaders right now that absolutely despise Biden and they don't hide it. Putin, okay. Putin, Xi, Modi, Erdogan, MBS, Netanyahu. The list goes on and on and on and on. So that's where we are in the world today, everybody. TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Telegram, and Rockfin. Go to the Duran shop, pick up a Duran hat. This is the flag of Greece. And what else? Free Assange, free Gonzalo. There's an operation that the Russians appear to be conducting in Kharkiv. So I don't know. Maybe that could be a way to free Gonzalo. Who knows? Who knows what's going on there? But the Russians are advancing in Kharkiv as well. And if you like this channel, I don't say this often, but since I've remembered to say this, if you like this channel, hit the like. If you don't like this channel, hit the dislike. If you want to subscribe to this channel, please subscribe. Take care.